our next segment. Was anybody at the Hackathon this weekend? Anybody at the Hackathon? Raise your hand if you're at the Hackathon. Awesome. Wow, good. Launch's mission is to inspire entrepreneurship and company formation. And as part of that, we host a hackathon before the Launch Festival. 800 people came to this hackathon, 300 or 400 teams, 200 teams finished. 14 teams were finalists. On Sunday night, we looked at the 14 finalists and we narrowed it down to 7. These projects are the result of under 48 hours of work, depending on how many hours of sleep the team got. In some cases, none. They literally slept on the floor outside. This is the spirit of entrepreneurship. Many of the people who come to the Launch Hackathon, it's their first time to San Francisco. In fact, how many people is it their first time to the Bay Area? Raise your hand, don't be shy. And that's the power of the event is, 5-10% of the event is their first time here. It's because we give free tickets to people who could otherwise not make it into the event and get them started on their entrepreneurial journey. Keep in mind, these are very raw projects. They're not going to be super designed, but they're going to show promise. What we're grading them on in the alpha competition is the promise. If you put 3 months and $25,000 into these projects, what would they look like? And in fact, the Launch Fund has committed to put $100,000 into the top 2, 3, or 4 of these projects. And we've done that now twice. The winner of the first hackathon last year got accepted to Paul Graham's Y Combinator, and we invested money in it. And 3 of the 5 companies that were the finalists in the last hackathon, you've seen on stage here, and we've invested in, including Ramen, who you saw yesterday. So we're really trying to inspire company creation. We've got a great group of judges. Mike Savino is here from Something Digital, who was also my first boss when I worked in New York. Paul Judge is here from Barracuda. Both of those individuals are LPs, limited partners. They're in the Launch Fund. Dave Samuel is here from Freestyle Venture Capital. Dane is here from eBay and PayPal. And my good friend Cyan Bannister is here from Bannister Capital. She's also on the grand jury, which means, just so you know, my closest friends, I'll ask them to be on what's called the grand jury. The grand jury sees every presentation. They have to be here in the front row for 3 full days. And that's how we have a fair competition, which is very important to us because people put a lot of work into their startups. To have a fair competition, we need to have one set of judges see everything. In case 5 of the best projects are on one panel, you don't want to have that not work out. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to have 7 of these hackathon presentations, under 2 minutes each, and then 2 or 3 minutes of questions, so 1 or 2 questions from each judge. And first up is Performance CI. Welcome. Big round of applause.
Thanks. So, quick show of hands if you think that healthcare.gov should have performance tested their app before deploying it to production. So we think so too. And even companies such as Amazon have found that a simple 1/10 of a second delay in their page load can reduce sales by 1%. What if performance testing could happen as part of your continuous deployment pipeline? Well, our team of engineers from Apple and Yahoo have put together a tool that could be used in their daily work lives. So let's jump into the product. Jason Years connected Performance CI to his GitHub repository. Performance CI has picked up a negative performance trend. You can see the down arrow, the negative thumbs down. Jason will click the last performance test result, which will show a diff of the code. This is what caused the performance issue. Now, Jason's going to fix the performance problem and check his code back in to GitHub. Performance CI will automatically see the commit, pull the code down, build it into a Docker container. Once the build is complete, Performance CI is going to rerun all the load tests automatically. You can see here the progress. Now, Performance CI has completed the testing. The performance problem was fixed, and the performance problem was fixed, and Performance CI has indicated that everything is good. So this is the basic product. We're going to be offering this as open source, hosted, and enterprise.
Great. Well done.
Thanks.
Feedback from any of our judges.
So I know you only had 48 hours to do this. That's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
how many performance issues were you able to identify in that 48 hours that you put in there?
So, well, for the demo that we did, it was mostly our own applications that we built and tested. So what you saw there was a Ruby app that we created and we introduced performance problems into. If we actually pointed this at public APIs, I'm sure we would find a lot of performance problems, but we just didn't have time to do that.
Yeah, I think this is really great. I think e-commerce as a starting point really works, and maybe working with a few products like Magento from eBay as a plugin to help people get better performance in that code would be great.
Thank you.
I thought you did a great job with just 2 minutes. You brought in your team from Apple and Yahoo, and we've definitely seen, if you go back to the Web 1.0 days, it kind of reminds me of Keynote and even Akamai, which kind of exists today. And I don't know exactly what the competitive landscape looks like today in 2014, but this is definitely an important project, so nice job with what you guys built.
Thanks.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Performance CI. Next up, Ripple.
Hi, everyone. My name's Stefan, and we've built Ripple. Ripple is an open, real-time, anonymous platform for you to share your ideas, great ideas, with the people around you. Ripple spreads messages using a natural selection mechanism. Let's just show you how it works. So Anastasius wants to share a message with everyone here at Launch Conference. He simply creates a message, types it in, and hits send. Ripple handles all the rest. When a user receives the message, which is sent to a select few users nearby, they see a screen like this. They can simply swipe up to continue spreading the message, or swipe down to ignore it. This is a visualization of how that looks. You can see that a message is received. It's a little slow, so we'll talk about some other things on the way. Messages spread in a manner that is conducive to pure virality. So there's no rigid social network structures like who I sent the message to, or who wants to look at the message, because they're forced to see the message and respond to it before they see the next one. So it encourages interaction. This way, your messages spread, or they don't spread, whether they're relevant or not to the current situation. You can imagine that this leads to really super ways to spread your ideas with the people around you. So help us turn this Ripple into a wave. And yeah, we're hoping to launch on the App Store within the next few weeks.
Awesome. Well done. OK, thoughts on self-propagating or voting-based location messaging thing? That's kind of brilliant. What do you guys think? Not to steer the audience.
Obviously, with Secret and What, there's a lot of activity in this space. I like the creative of actually forcing the user to actually go up to send it around, or to go down and I guess not send it around. So I think it's quite creative. That's how I described it. As for how all of these kind of anonymous apps are going to shake out, that's still to be determined. But I like the creativity of what you guys built.
So one question. I love that you're going with a true sense of viral. It has to spread person to person. But the mesh is made based on strictly geography right now. Is that the right way for the future, or should it be maybe based on interest, not just how close I am location-wise to someone?
Right. So we're guessing in the future we can have, if two people are liking the same kind of messages, then we can build a similarity metric around that, and have the one person be the other person's kind of early tester of ideas. So when I send the idea, it will go to that person first, because that person is most likely to spread the idea around. So that's something I'm considering.
Okay. I was just thinking about this at a concert or a sporting arena. Can you imagine, Mike, if we're at a Knicks game and I put a chant in there and swiped it up? I mean, that's going to get voted up by everybody. I came up with good chants for the Knicks games.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
I've seen that. You've upset a few players too. So,
what do you think is a possible application for this? I could ask the judges or the folks.
So for me, my immediate thought was safety. If there's a fire in the neighborhood, or I live in San Francisco, and a lot of times I have to look at Twitter to try to figure out why there's a helicopter above my house. So that might be one interesting use case.
Yeah, and my name is not necessarily attached to the message, or can I have that option? So if I was putting in a report about, I know why the helicopter is there because I'm a store owner, or I'm a police officer and I want everybody to see it, can I attach my Twitter handle, or does it have to be anonymous? Because then somebody could pull the fire alarm anonymously.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Right now, it's designed to be anonymous. You could, of course, type your name into the message box or your Twitter handle. But there's no reason in the future where we couldn't provide the option for you to attach a profile to it. Part of the design, though, is that we don't want who the message is coming from to influence whether or not a user spreads it or not. So we want a message to be spread purely on its merit and its content, not on who it came from necessarily. Yeah,
really nice job on the UI considering how much time you guys had.
Thank you.
All right. Well done. Let's hear it for Ripple. Next up is HiLo. Good job, Ripple. And now HiLo.
Hello. So HiLo is a spontaneous mobile marketplace for the exchange of tickets and other goods at events. So anyone who's been to a concert and has had to buy or sell a ticket knows it's inefficient and awkward, really, at best. So we've got a better way. It's called HiLo. So we've got a show tonight at the Warfield, say, and we've got a buyer named Sally. She needs a ticket. She doesn't want to buy from the sketchy guy across the street, the scalper, and she doesn't want to randomly ask people one by one whether they have a ticket. So she fires up HiLo. Meantime, you have a seller who crews into the scene. He's got an extra ticket now, and he needs to sell that ticket. He doesn't want to go back and forth with the Craigslist guy and emailing and texting, and the guy never shows up. So he's going to fire up HiLo and post a ticket. Posting's super simple. You just take a picture, fire a line of text, price, and post. Now, at this point, the ticket has shown up in the buyer's inventory. She's psyched because it's a floor ticket, just what she's looking for. Clicks it, takes a look, can see the seller rating, which is good in this case, so she goes ahead with the transaction. In this case, this fires up a chat between the buyer and seller that the seller will typically say something like, wearing a red hat, standing near the telephone pole, so that the buyer knows what to look for. Now, it's important to note in this case that no emails and no telephone numbers have been exchanged, so the transaction is still anonymous, and either party could back out at this point. In this case, though, the buyer is going to go ahead and click on my way, which then fires up the beacon on the seller's phone. And the buyer's going to look for this beacon, and the seller can kind of hold it any way they want. They can hold it high or low, depending on how cool they want to play it. And then they go over and cruise over to the seller and buyer meet. So the only thing left here is to pay. And we've got cash option, which works even when there's no connectivity, like out at a big festival. In this case, we were going to finish the transaction with Bitcoin, which is a simple 1 or 2 step process, and we're done. So in less than 2 minutes, 2 real fans have exchanged real tickets with no hassle, and that's HiLo.
Okay, eBay Marketplace, anonymous transactions based on location. Thoughts?
I think getting down to that last minute is really awesome, and you guys did a fantastic job pulling together a really great experience in a very short period of time. I'm thinking about, where do you guys think you'd start? Like, which ways? How would you tackle the cold start problem of a marketplace?
Yeah,
model?
so I think there's 2 ways, and one is particular events really lend themselves to this, like Coachella would be one. Is kind of like the most obvious one. So I think what's interesting here is not only tickets, but you can buy and sell lots of stuff. Like Coachella, it's lollipops and whatever they have there at the EDM festivals. At another, like a NASCAR event, it could be Jack Daniels in addition to your tickets. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people can trade, buy, and sell once you're at an event. People brought too much stuff. People didn't bring enough stuff. So it goes, I think, beyond tickets. And so we really want to focus on those kind of bigger events and festivals.
Yeah, I think the user experience is great. I think the concern would be, one of the things StubHub offers is some assurance that you're not going to get ripped off, right? And based on the fact that there is no anonymity, you have to kind of tell people, you have to tell StubHub who you are. So I think I love what you're doing. I think in the short time what you've done, it's really great. But the hurdle to come over will be, protecting people from getting ripped off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's important. And so one thing, we have ratings, which you can always back away in the beginning, and also you can back away when you get close. If you're walking towards somebody and you think, oh, this buyer actually they look pretty sketchy, well, I don't have to complete the transaction. So there's a lot that you can get that you don't get through Craigslist and other ways. And not quite equal to StubHub, but this is also much more efficient than StubHub, on the ground.
More questions. One more question. Anybody? Is the idea here that people at the electronic dance thing might buy other items other than tickets with this?
to give them or to allow for sale? Or
well, I know at like Burning Man you're not supposed to sell stuff, but I mean...
Well, I think it's an interesting platform not only to just sell, but you can exchange and gift and do other things like that,
Got it.
which makes it really social and fun.
Got it. Okay. Because the sketchy person might have the best stuff.
Depends on what you're into. Depends on what you're into.
That's interesting. All right, let's hear it for HiLo for concert tickets and other stuff for your concert experience. All right, next up is View.
All right. Introducing View. View isn't just a mobile analytics tool. View helps developers understand and engage their application user base. Now, my friend Alice recently launched a fitness application. But before she did, she integrated the View SDK with a single line of code. As you can see on the screen in the top right here, every single interaction a user makes in the application is automatically tracked in the console for Alice to see what's going on in the application. Now, after View's been tracking the application for a while, Alice goes to the dashboard and wants to learn more about the application. She's curious how many users have added food to the application or clicked the Add Food button since the beginning of the month. She can simply ask this via our powerful query engine and get data back immediately. Something interesting she notices is that all the users, when they have a session where they add food, seem to be a little bit shorter than normal. She's not sure why, so she wants to dig in further. She can now go to specific sessions and actually see everything a user did across the entire application and figure out what's actually going on. Alice is ecstatic. View has made it so much simpler for her to see what's going on in her application. But that's not all. Alice, as a professional UX designer, knows that there's more than the numbers that go into the application. There's what the user does and what the user thinks. So she noticed application user 5 was one of the ones having troubles adding food to the application. So you can select their device, send a message, and immediately get the devices on their phone. So once we go to the device, we'll see as the user goes to their application, they'll fire it up, they'll use the application like they normally would, bounce around it, and eventually a feedback mode will pop up, noticing they had an issue. They can then fill that out, send the information, and write back to the feedback platform. Now, going back to the feedback platform, once the application goes there, we will notice that the question has been answered. Hey, the user was adding food, but the confirmation button wasn't working. Alice then can go in and fix this bug and immediately notices a 400% increase in user engagement on users that are adding food to the application. View takes the headache out of integrating application analytics and allows developers to focus on understanding their user base and engaging them. My name is Brian Clark. This is Tyson Doherty, and you can go to getview.co and sign up for our beta today. Thank you.
All right, Dave, you got a big smile on your face, which means you're writing a check. Will you write a $25,000 check right now?
It's amazing what you guys have built in 48 hours. I mean, it's a beautifully designed app. You've got your web app. You have your mobile SDK. And so I'm smiling because it's really amazing. Jason tried to set our expectations low, and all you guys are all beating it, which is great.
25K, yes or no, right now. First money in. You would take a meeting.
Oh, definitely. I'll take a meeting, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is an area.
Excited. Thank you.
I mean, obviously, mobile is where it's at. And once again, back to the competitive landscape, I'm not exactly sure what kind of Mixpanel and Flurry is doing in this area. But the idea of being able to connect directly to the consumer and get feedback, as you had with the little dialogue window, I thought was a great feature. So great job with the presentation.
Thank you.
How do you guys think about the scale problem? So when you reach out to a customer, that's awesome when you've got 1,000 customers. Yep. When you have 1 million or 10 million customers and you're trying to do a process like this, how do you think about your app scaling to that?
So we definitely want to take that as slow. I actually have a team of technical people that work with me that have experience in big data from like very big industries such as General Electric's research facility and other companies that can actually bring in to help me scale up the industry. So start small, get something working fast, but as we scale up, make sure we're ready to handle that data.
So speaking of team, what's your background?
So I went to the University of Michigan, have a computer science engineering degree. I worked at General Electric for a couple years in an IT project as a program manager, managing large-scale infrastructure deployments and application development.
What do you think is your differentiation? Is it that you're a mobile app analytics, or that you're real-time support, or are you just on both of them?
So it's kind of, I'm a mobile app developer for the last 3 years, and I've been integrating tools like that, and also an interaction person. So I'm really curious, like, as these new applications have become a lot more interaction sensitive, there's a new way we interact with applications. So being able to provide the user view into that, and seeing how users integrate with that, and then also being able to engage from that kind of point of view, where like interaction grows different applications.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Vue. GetVue.code.
Thank you.
All right. I like the 2-minute format. Next up, AddMeIn.
Hi. How about some fun? Here's my friend Nino. He loves taking selfies. This one particularly is not that much fun. You know what's fun, though? This is another one. Backstage, he took a picture with Steve Jobs. Unfortunately, Steve's not here, but here's the magic. Here's how he did it. AddMeIn. So you go back into the main screen of the app. You look at models. You look at Steve presenting a wedding, your team winning Super Bowl. Let's just go with the wedding in this case. You select that. You go to a picture where you are present at your good self. Select yourself. Tell AddMeIn where you are. We are going to do the magic, the heavy lifting in the back. Select yourself, take you out from the picture, and put you right where you want to be. Just at a tab, 2 seconds, done, magic. You can add filters, and then you can share it with your friends. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Here's the fun idea. You can go into the timeline, look at all the pictures you have done in the background. Could be with Steve presenting, your friend passed out, or Throwback Thursday. You could be present at your parents' wedding, Super Bowl team winning in Russia. It's all up to your imagination. Here's where we see ourselves. Every time you need a fun picture, you open AddMeIn. Within 2 seconds, you have your fun app, fun picture, ready to share on Facebook. Right there, that's us, AddMeIn. Thank you.
OK.
It's like taking photobombing to a new level, huh?
Right there, yes.
There's your tagline. OK.
Yeah. So where do you see taking this from a monetary perspective? How can you make money with this?
So we want this to be free so that people can use it as much as they want. But here's the catch. We'll be putting our logo in every picture which they share. If they want to remove that logo, they buy credits. And every credit could be 25 cents or a small amount that they pay to basically remove themselves and share that. That looks more realistic that way. So that's our model right now. But we are open to exploring other options, too.
So what about copyright issues with the pictures?
So that's why they can import pictures that they already have. On top of that, they can import pictures from Flickr or 500 pixels, and we can do a revenue share over there from the money that they have. So those are sort of the avenues that we are thinking of right now.
So would you buy a collection of pictures to bootstrap it so that?
Yeah, there would be a set of pictures. Users can import their own pictures, but if they want paid pictures, they paid for pictures from 500 pixels or Flickr or other sources like that, kind of a revenue share.
So you would go pay for Zuckerberg's wedding picture, and then I would just have that when I open the app?
Sure.
OK.
Totally do that. And about the team, that's Nino. He is on the design side. I'm a research in computer vision. There's another person doing computer vision algorithms, which basically magically pulls the person out, pastes it in, and there's Stewart, who's on the UI, UX side. That's us.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
all right, well done. Wow, these are amazing. You know, it's interesting. The companies from the hackathon have as much promise as the regular 1.0 and 2.0 competition we see, even if not as refined or maybe as deep. OK, next is Blush.
Blush is a unique twist on one-to-one messaging. what makes it innovative is that it combines text with video, and probably in a way that will surprise you. So let's use Blush. I'm going to start a conversation with Jessica. And I'm going to write her a little note. We're pretty good friends, so I'm going to write something that's a little self-deprecating. And here's where things are different. Because in order to read this message, Jessica's going to have to allow her front-facing camera to record her while my message is revealed to her one word at a time. So let's go ahead and hit done. And that's a preview of what Jessica's going to see. So let's hit send. That looks great. Jessica gets a notification that my message is ready for her. And this is what she sees. So her front-facing camera is on. She gets this instruction to read and record herself. And my message is going to start in 3 seconds. And her focus right now is on the message. It's not on the video. It's passive. She reacts to the message. This recording is then sent back to me. And this is really where things are different. This is where the magic happens, because instead of getting a text message from her or a notification that she's read the message, I get to see her reaction to me. And that's really what makes this different. This is really the special moment. I mean, what's so exciting about this is that I am sharing a moment with her that right now I can't do in anything else but Blush. It's a very human connection. It's a really, really compelling way to use video to enhance text. So that's Blush. It's text enhanced by video to create intimacy. Thank you.
So I thought you did a really great job on the app. Like it's again, I'm blown away with how much you guys are getting done in such a short period of time.
Thank you.
I'm curious, like why text versus another format for communicating information to someone?
So I think the reason text is still very important is the offline nature of it. You have an idea, you want to send it to somebody, you have a thought, you can just make it, you can do it on the train and just wait for a response at some later time. Video, it requires presence at the time that you do it. And so this is a way to combine those two elements. It's that convenience of offline text, but it gives you that human connection that you get with video.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I really like the suspense of it. I think that's really cool, and I can see a lot of people doing like marriage proposals, wedding, like sort of wedding announcements, baby announcements, and that kind of thing. And you know, in the land of like apps like Secret, this is really cool because I actually think it has a really good feel-good motive around it. So I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Because you brought up part of what I was going to ask, the use case, the key demographic. So after you dethrone Snapchat as king of sexting, like what do you see as the core demographic that uses this ongoing? Is it couples? Is it friends?
Well, you know, certainly because of the intimacy, there's certainly a connection that you're going to make with close friends, with certainly couples. But you know, even at the younger demographic, I mean, just trash talking and saying something and getting that reaction from them. You can see a back and forth communication that happens that I think would be really engaging. So I really think it can apply across the spectrum to a lot of demographics.
Got it. Thanks.
Awesome. I think this is amazing and joyful, and I could see people actually, I could see people's behavior like changing because of it. Like when you send a text message to somebody, knowing that you're actually going to see their response, it builds so much intimacy and it builds so much humanity into it that I think the empathy will just go way up, where most of these apps, they're empathy draining. I think this is empathy like sort of enriching. So I'm very impressed by this. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
And last but not least, Habari.
So this hackathon, we've built the mint.com for fitness data. I'm really excited to introduce you to Habari. We're going to log in as Stephanie. Now, Stephanie uses a MapMyFitness app on her phone to track her runs, and she also has a Nike Fuel Band that she uses to track her daily activity. Before Habari, she had to go to 2 different places to see her fitness information. But with our solution, she can see everything together in one place. On her dashboard, she sees how many calories she burnt last week, how far she traveled, and how many steps she's taken. Now, Stephanie recently also got into biking, and she uses the Strava app on her phone to track her routes. With a few clicks, she can integrate Strava into Habari, and when she does that, her dashboard updates instantly to reflect the data coming from the combined sources. In addition to building a cool data aggregation platform, we also wanted to build a community for active people. And the active people range from those that are fitness nuts to those who occasionally go on a jog. So when Stephanie goes on her community page, she sees information that's tailored to her. For example, we know that she just got into biking. We know where she wants to go biking, and we also know which ones of her friends like to go biking as well, so we can help her plan a ride. All she has to do is click on this blue button, and she sees a dialog box where she can send a message to her friends who are also into biking and quickly arrange a ride. But that's not all. We can collect data from all sorts of other sources. For example, we can pull in Twitter feeds, we can pull in Facebook posts and blog posts to give Stephanie relevant content. So in this case, we know that she's into running, so we're showing her some articles that may be of interest to her. By bringing these features together, Habari is providing a really interesting perspective for Stephanie to go into her data and also giving her a community of people she can interact with. By bringing the data together, we want to offer everybody, regardless of the application of the device they have, with a way to improve their health, their happiness, and their fitness. This is Habari.
A great interface, a lot of information in there, and I'd see where if I had 4 or 5 different fitness tracking tools, why this would be useful.
Right.
But what if I'm like moderately active? Like I have one thing. Like you compare yourself to Mint. Mint was, I think, good at having people that were not so into finance become interested in it.
Right.
So how do you pull the rest of people in?
Right. So I'm going to break that answer into 2 parts. First is that we know there are some advanced users that use multiple devices. So they're generally activity specific, like Strava for biking, something else for running. So instantly, by bringing in the data, we provide a lot of use for them. But we ultimately want to target everybody. And that's why we built a really powerful community feature. So even if you just have one application or one device, we can bring in content for you that's tailored to that and really build a community for active people. And this community really doesn't exist in a good way today.
Great interface. Just a quick snapshot of your backgrounds.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have over 30 years of engineering experience among the team. We have built everything from scalable applications and data platforms to machine learning algorithms and intuitive UI interfaces at Microsoft, at Yahoo, at HelloSign, and at Box. So we bring a lot of experience. We're also capable and passionate about the space.
Awesome.
So one comment just to share, I think it's a really interesting idea. The thing to think about maybe is there are people who are active, and then there are people like me who want to be active.
Yeah.
And so you want to think about how you connect with that much larger audience and how you can bring them up. And so your community piece is a really interesting one, which I think you're going to want to think about how you have communities that map to different sort of activity levels or skill levels.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we want to iterate on. We want to push this product out, see what feedback we get, and really that demographic is the largest demographic. Ultimately, we want to help everyone become more active and become happier and healthier.
I think that's a great point. I have like the Fitbit, the Shine, every single device, and it's just sitting on my shelf. Anything that gets me to put those devices back on again and then track again, I think would be really useful.
And we've noticed that there are these, right now the data exists in silos, and by combining it together, we believe that we can provide a win-win situation for these partners by making this whole experience more engaging. And that's what really we're after.
Okay, awesome. Well done, Habari.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Tyler, right before we have them go, I just want to do a survey of the judges, so you got a minute to set up. So those were our 7 hackathon projects. We saw Performance CI doing performance testing as people were writing code in real time. We saw Ripple, idea spreading over geographic basis by people flipping up to vote yes or voting down to vote no to their message. We saw HiLo for exchanging concert tickets and other supplies. We saw View, which was analytics for iOS apps with a feedback loop for specific users. We saw AddMeIn for creepy photo bombing. It's pretty awesome. We saw Blush, which was capture the reaction to your text messages in video. And we saw Habari, which was doing the health graph in a Mint-style fashion. Hat tip to the winner of year 1. Which one was your runner-up, and why, and which one was your absolute favorite is what I'm going to ask each judge. So take a minute to think about that. Start with your runner-up and why. Actually, we'll do everybody's runner-up first. That'll be more dramatic. So who's your second place, and why? And then we'll do the first place for each of you. Your favorite, and I'll let you define best for yourself. It could be best because you want to use it. It could be best because you want to invest in it. It could be best because you think it has the best chance of existing in the world 5 years from now. You can pick. So, runner-up.
I'll go up with runner-up. Habari, the last one. We're seeing definitely a lot of activity within the workout kind of space, and you have lots of different devices, and seemed like a great team. The presenter seemed like a great salesperson, and I do think that there's a play for kind of an Uber umbrella that sits across all of these different devices. So that was my runner-up.
Okay, runner-up. Who wants to go next? Anybody?
Mine was AddMeIn, just due to the kind of visceral audience reaction to the product, I think.
Okay.
Nothing speaks better than customers, right?
Great.
I would say Vue is my runner-up. I think they did a really interesting job of tackling a real problem that exists today in the market. Getting connected with your customers in mobile applications is difficult, and being able to pull back that data and make great decisions is a huge value add. So.
Great. Cyan, who's your runner-up?
Vue. Mostly just because I have a customer service background and I really like the ability to gather that feedback, and I think it's a real product with really useful application.
Great. Paul?
Runner-up, Ripple. Because just the ability to actually go back to having a viral message and kind of having dialogues while you're in the same place.
Okay, so to recap, we have Ripple, Vue, Habari, AddMeIn, and AddMeIn as the runners-up. Now, who do you put as the best from the hackathon? Paul, why don't you start? Who is your favorite?
My favorite is Blush.
Okay, why?
I think it changes the way I would communicate with people. I have friends that we pass jokes back and forth, and I sit there and I wait to see their response.
Yep.
And I see them typing, but I'm wondering what they're thinking. And so it would like open up and unfold this mystery in life of like, what is somebody thinking while they're reading my text?
Great. Cyan.
Blush is also my top favorite. It reminds me of watching an Apple commercial for the first time and seeing somebody's expression on their face.
Yeah.
And I think adding a little more joy to the world, I'd love to see more of that. And so I like that a lot.
Dave.
Vue, I already said I'm going to meet with the team, so that's my top choice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say Vue too. I think that space for us trying to improve mobile experience is really big.
Habari. I think they basically really tackled another major problem that's coming up, not today, but probably a year or two out.
Okay, so if we gave 2 points to every person who came in first, that would give Blush 4 points. Vue, and we gave 1 point to second round, it would give Vue 4 points in first place and 1 point in second for 5. Habari had 1 first place, which is 2 points, and 1 in second place, which would be 3. And AddMeIn with 2. So it would look like Vue and Blush are the 2 favorites right now. So congratulations to them. We're going to deliberate later, and well done. And those are the hackathon top 7. Now, one of the trends we saw over the past year was a lot of the companies who would normally come to our event launching on Kickstarter. And so we decided to test something this year. It's called the what competition is this called? Alpha? Okay, Alpha. It's called the Alpha competition, and what it is people who have an active Kickstarter. So the projects you're about to see have an active Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaign, so they're kind of launched already, but you may have heard of them. And the first one we're going to see is Bleep Bleeps.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom from Bleep Bleeps. This is Charlotte. So how many people have got kids? Raise your hand. How many people plan to have kids at some stage? It's a big market, right? How many people think having kids is easy? 0, I'm glad. So I think it's hard too. And we're here, Bleep Bleeps is here to make parenting easier. So let me introduce to you our range of cute connected devices. Each of these devices has a face, a name, and a character, and they all help you with a different aspect of parenting. They help you get pregnant. They help you be pregnant. They help you give birth, raise your child, and look after your baby. So I'm going to introduce you to the team later. But first of all, we've got a little demo of our launch product, which is called Sammy Screamer. Sammy Screamer is a cute little triangular device. It's got a speaker, an accelerometer, and a Bluetooth module in here. And you can use her to keep an eye on your stuff. So I'm just going to loop her over my bag here. I could chuck her inside if I wanted to, but I'm just going to loop her over so you can see. So she sits neatly like that. Now I'm going to switch over to the app. Okay. So we're geek scientists. Okay, so you select the sensitivity and the volume in the app. Can we see the app on the screen? Yeah, here we go. So you choose the volume, how loud you want it to scream, and you choose how sensitive you want the device to be. And then, I can be out in the park playing with my kids, and I do hope no one interferes with my bag, because that's going to really annoy me. Oh, there we go. Can you hear that? Do we have audio on the iPhone? Hang on, let me just...
One more time.
Oh, I just need a headphone jack here to plug the iPhone in. Oh, you heard it? OK, cool. So you can actually background the app as well. So if you steal it again. Oh, OK. Cool. Great, thank you. OK, there we go. You can hear it now. So you can background the app if we move the device again. And also on the lock screen. So that's Sammy Screamer. Thank you very much. So I'm going to introduce you now to the different ways that Sammy can be used. OK, so you might want to keep an eye on the cookies at home. The great thing about Sammy is she's got a few magnets in her, so you can stick her to stuff. So we put her inside the cookie jar here. So she screams when someone tries to steal a cookie. Or perhaps your husband's on a diet and you don't want him to go in the fridge, so you can stick him to the fridge. The wife gets a push notification every time you try and eat something that's bad for you. But perhaps you don't want your kids to go in the office, or perhaps you want to stick Sammy on a swimming pool gate or a gun cabinet, I don't know. We all have places we don't want our kids to go. And also, if you spend $1,000 on a stroller like me, you probably want to keep an eye on it when you're in a restaurant. But also what we're seeing is, as I've just demoed, Sammy has much broader use case beyond parenting, actually. We're seeing a lot of people on Kickstarter using and thinking of Sammy to be used in a variety of different ways beyond parenting, which really excites me. So we're live on Kickstarter right now. We've got an exclusive launch orange color there, if you're interested, and also an exclusive Kickstarter green color. So you can buy singles, triple packs, twins, lemon and lime colors, really juicy, delicious selection we've got there. And I'd really like to take some time to introduce you to the rest of the Bleep Bleeps family. So, any Brits in the house? Anybody heard of Tiny Temper, the rapper? Yeah? Namesake. So Tony Temper is a digital thermometer. You bleep him on your forehead or in your ear, and he takes a reading. And actually, this little guy was the inspiration for the whole brand for me. My daughter was ill one night. Picture the scene. It's 3 a.m. I'm bleary-eyed. I find my crappy Braun thermometer thing. I stick it in her ear. She cries. It bleeps. I get the reading on the back, 38 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, oh, is that high or low? What's it supposed to be again? Is it supposed to be 37 or 39? Anyway, I get my phone out. I Google it. I find out it is actually a little bit high, and I get some tips and some ideas on how to bring her temperature down. And at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. The Internet of Things, whole scene was happening. Why aren't these two things connected? Why isn't this device connected to my phone? So Tony, I've got a lot to thank for Tony. He was the inspiration for the whole brand. David Camera, video baby monitor. Keep going. Cecil G, GPS location bracelet. Lily Loco, location device you can chuck in your kid's lunchbox or rucksack, or they can wear as a pendant. We also have some very interesting devices to help you get pregnant. So this is Olivia P sticks. So you wee on a stick, stick it in her mouth. She measures your urine to measure whether you're ovulating or not, so you can time when to have sex to get pregnant. And also our next product is interesting too, Master Bates. He's a sperm count tester. Thank you. And then right at the end of our product horizon is ultrasound. He's a home ultrasound pregnancy scanner. So thank you. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed meeting Bleep Bleeps. Thank you.
Well, at this point, I'm really glad that I gave you the extra 30 seconds. Worth the wait. Now, those last 4 or 5 things we saw, are those on the roadmap, or they're in development? Where are those?
Absolutely. So, oh, you can't see them anymore. So we've got, this is our launch product, Sammy. He's in production now on Kickstarter, and we're due to deliver that in August.
When will you get the ultrasound stuff? Yeah.
Say again, sorry?
When will you have the ultrasound one?
Yeah, a few years' time. I think, we're waiting for the technology to shrink, and also what we're finding with that, actually, the technology side is pretty easy, but the administration of it by the user is a challenge, because you don't want to be blasting your unborn fetus with ultrasound too much. It's pretty bad for it. So we're looking at ways into that, but really the next 3 products are Tony Temper, the thermometer, and David Camera, the baby monitor, video baby monitor. Then we're going to do the GPS devices, and then the conception devices, because they've got chemical engineering in, so slightly bigger deal.
All right, questions from our judges. Thoughts from our judges.
What's the battery life on Sammy?
The battery life is around 6 months of moderate use, a few hours a day, or a year on standby, or 1,000 screams.
Are they going to all tie back to one app, or is it going to be a separate app for each one of these on the phone?
That's a really, really interesting thought. We have this debate a lot, whether to create an ecosystem or whether to have one app to rule them all. At the moment, we're going to have discrete apps for each device.
And it's right now tied back Bluetooth to a phone. So
right.
If I'm not in the kitchen when my kids open up the cookie jar, then I won't know.
It's Bluetooth LE, so it's pretty good range. It's kind of 30 meters minimum up to 70 meters kind of outside in an open space. So yeah, what's that, 90 feet to 150 feet?
Okay.
Yeah, depending on how built up it is. We're actually working on Sammy 2.0, I can exclusively announce, which hopefully will be Wi-Fi. We're waiting for the right chips to be, come to market, and battery life is a real issue, but that's our challenge, and our goal is to produce a Wi-Fi version next.
Great.
Do I have to use do I have to use an iPhone with these, or will
Android?
they work? Will they work on their own, or a phone in general? Like, do I have to use a phone to take my baby's temperature?
No. So the device shows the temperature anyway, and then the app actually monitors the device for tracking and guidance. So the devices work independently of the app too.
Awesome. Well done. Let's hear it for Bleep
Thank you,
Bleeps.
guys.